Hi everyone, this is Gail Scott, and I'm really excited to bring you this message today because it comes from what I am calling infinite intelligence. Some might call it source, some might call it God, the universe. We all have our own names for this amazing source of power and energy and wisdom that we can all intuitively connect to and tap into. And so I have been channeling officially the infinite, as I call it, since the summer of 2019 and have many channelings from them. But this one that came through just this past week was just so profound. And I'm really excited to share it with you. So they came through asking, we wonder if you can fathom the idea that you are both the grain of sand and the entire beach. And this takes us to the concept that we are one. And I've been speaking about this concept for quite a while now, and it's quite difficult for most people to really grasp the idea that even as an individual unit, an individual human being, that we actually belong and are everything and anything. And so they've come through and said, you know, this is what you need to know, that you are both of these things. You are the grain of sand on the beach and you are the entire beach. And so this infinite intelligence says to me, well, we are the source of everything. We're the source of all information. And we come through you right now because we want to give you hope as a species. We want you to know that more is possible than what you are experiencing right now. So this channeling actually came through with many questions to us as they were channeling through me. So the first question was, are you aware that as a human, you have access to absolutely everything that is possible in the universe? All timelines, all experiences, all knowledge. Now, there's a process that I take many of my coaching clients through, and it's really to determine what your worldview is. And part of that exercise is to really see where your level of possibility exists. What do you believe is inevitable? And where can you expand into realizing that anything is possible? So for most of us right now, probably thinking, well, who knows what's possible? In fact, there's probably many difficult things that you're thinking about might be possible. So we want to really go beyond that kind of fear-based, negative kind of attitude. And so they're saying, yes, it might seem right now in our limited form as human beings that we don't have access to everything. But it's not our limited form as a human being that can access everything. It's our divine nature as a spiritual being, as an element of the universe ourselves, that we can access all of this. And so as you're going about your day-to-day business, just being who you are, you can begin to get this concept that you belong to the greater whole. You are a part of everything. And when you can tap into your own spiritual knowing, that intuitive sense that you have, much more is possible for you in terms of greater ease in life, maybe more love, a sense of peace, happiness, joy, all of those amazing positive emotions. So now the next question is, now why would we bring this message to you at this time in particular? So they go on to say that there are changes, in order for us to understand this, there are changes going on in our planet. And they might seem to us to be small and random and moment by moment that can't be controlled, but actually that's not the case. These are not small, random, moment by moment things that can't be controlled that are happening. So they go on. So in every moment of every moment, things are changing. And we know that. We know that from energy. We know that from quantum physics. We know that everything is constantly evolving and changing. So this is the nature of the universe. I mean, this is what happens within our bodies constantly. Our cells are constantly evolving and changing and growing and being destroyed and being created and evolving. So the universe is like that. It's consistently changing, transforming, and there's an abundance of that happening. There's no scarcity in the universe. There's just complete abundance. And that includes an abundance of change, an abundance of possibilities, like literally an abundance of everything and anything for you, for you. The universe exists for you to be able to enjoy life as a human being. So they've said, now what does this mean? Well, it means that as an individual being, human being, held within this physical form that you are in, this body, you have access to all of these unlimited possibilities. And so now you hearing this message on planet Earth at this time means that you now have an elevated consciousness of awareness. You now have been given this information that you can access all of these unlimited possibilities. So how do you do this? So in our current form, in this current energy field that we live in, they've called it our own quantum space in the universe, we can often feel limited. And that makes a lot of sense because we're very dense, heavy individual beings, grounded in gravity on planet Earth. But they're saying that the reason why it's difficult for us is not so much because of that, although that is a contributing factor, but it's mostly because we don't stop long enough to feel the energy of the universe. And that in order to access these unlimited possibilities, you have to do that. You literally have to stop and feel the energy of the universe. So in that restriction of your own sense of movement, you can really connect deeply to this source within you that I spoke about at the beginning, this divine guidance, this intuition, this universal knowledge, this wisdom that is you. It's an element of you. It is both you, the grain of sand, and you as the entire beach and the entire ocean. So it's not something that we really acknowledge when we're rushing about and being busy in our lives, because when we're doing that, we actually are limiting our focus because, of course, we're not really conscious. We're running on our programs. Our subconscious is running the show. We're not really present. We're not really aware. And so in those moments where we have that experience, we can only handle a certain amount of information. But if you take the time to stop and really get still, and for example, think about when you're waking up in the middle of the night and everything is quiet, or you wake up early in the morning just as the sun is rising or the birds are beginning to sing, and that quiet space that you find yourself in, assuming your mind isn't going, a mile a minute, you can actually have this experience where you can, just in the space of that moment, you can connect to the all, to everything. But of course, that's not generally how we live our lives. We're normally very busy all the time. We've got lots of things going on, lots of schedule and lots of conversation, lots of work and lots of interaction with other people, lots of things to do. And so in order for us to really be in that quiet, still moment, we actually have to put some effort into it. So we do have to structure our thought process and our beingness, if you want to put it like that, into that quantum space, into that ability of us to simply just grow still. And it makes me think of that phrase, be still and know that I am God. And so when you go into prayer or meditation, you're accessing that energy. And we often think that it's outside of ourselves. but actually it's not. And so what they've said to us here in this channeling is, be still and know that you are God. Be still and know that you are God. So now why would we do that? Why would we stop and connect to this quantum space in the universe? Well, it's going to give us a completely different experience of being human, because up until this point in time, our human experience has been one of duality, of separation, of experiences that have given us contrast, different experiences and different things, so that we could actually enjoy the contrast of opposite, good and bad, light and dark, black and white. And so in essence, that's what we've been living, that kind of life. But what they're bringing us back to is this being in a moment of stillness means you can touch the God within you. And this is very related to the last channeling that I did about really connecting back to knowing that you are this. And that we're moving into an energy not of separation, but of unity. And so you really have to start with yourself. And so if you can, in essence, touch the God within you, touch your own essence, connect to your soul, to your spirit, to who you really are, to why you came to the planet, that's when you're going to find a sense of alignment, a sense of peace, a sense of calm awareness about who you really are. And in a sense, really get that you are the all-knowing, that you are the infinite, that you are. That's it. So now it's not an easy task for most of us to do this, because we're all running around believing that our brains actually control everything, and that we give our power over to our brain. We believe that that's our higher power, that that's the source of everything, but the brain isn't. If you listen to any of my earlier recordings on Mixcloud, you will see that the group that came through, the very first group that I channeled called Alaster, they talked a lot about that. They talked a lot about our brains just being small computers that keep us confined and limited, and that actually the heart is where it's at. And this has been proven now with science through heart math. And so the brain is just a piece of machinery, just a bunch of cells that runs on electricity. And it's similar to the heart, but it's not nearly as powerful as the heart. And the energy that gets radiated out from the heart actually goes out 6 feet outside of your body, whereas the energy that gets radiated out of your brain only comes out 2 or 3 inches. So you can actually create a lot of change and energetic shifting by focusing into the energy of the heart. So when you can do that, when you can connect the two so that it's your heart that's really making the decisions, and you're tapping into your intuition, and you're tapping into that inner wisdom, that's when you're really going to notice, oh, I'm really connected to who I am. And we can do that when we can draw close to ourselves and when we can be still. And so their encouragement is for us to do this more and more, and really take the time in any moment to just be with yourself and really kind of remove a lot of the distractions, so that you're not rushing around all the time and you're not in everything and doing everything, and just simply being with yourself. And I know in the lives that we live, that is not an easy thing to do, but this takes dedication and discipline and focus, which I know you all have that, because you can attach that to anything else that you're doing. So why not try this just to see if it brings you a little bit more peace? And you can do it easily when you're out in nature. So, when you go out on a clear, starry night and you gaze up at the wonder of the sky, It's right there. It's present. You know that you are part of everything and that everything is a part of you. Or if you stand in front of the ocean and you see the waves crashing on the beach, or you see a huge expanse of beach, you recognize that, you know, there's a much bigger world out there, but you are a part of that. Or even when you look at a mountain and you see the vast majesty of that mountain, you can get that sense of wonder and awe and connection. So what they're offering to us to that is for you to actually have that in any moment. You don't have to be in front of the ocean. You don't have to be standing on a mountaintop. You don't have to be, you know, gazing up at the height of a tree or the starry night. You can get it anytime you want just by slowing down, just by quietening your brain, just by being still, just by tapping into the energy of your heart. And they said it's not about meditation, but it is meditative. And so you can do it in a moment. You don't have to sit down for 10 minutes in a yoga pose, do anything like that. You can just get there almost immediately. But in order to get there, you have to actually stop and look around and connect. So how do you do this? Well, you can start with your breath, which of course is a very common way of connecting to yourself in a meditation practice, but just really becoming connected to the machine that's your body. And, you know, as you touch, oh yes, I have a physical body, and, you know, I'm sitting in this chair, or I'm, you know, lying on my bed, or wherever you are, recognize that you are a living, breathing machine, and that you don't have to think about how your organs work and how your blood flows through your body, but you do have to get in touch with the breath that actually flows in and out of you, the prana, the life force that is you. And that life force that is you is also the life force of the entire quantum field that we're living in. And so wherever you are, whether you're sitting in your car in traffic, or you're, you know, trying to get to sleep at night, or you're just noticing that you're in a stressful situation, just come back to yourself and begin to notice in that moment and connect to who you really are. And you're not going to get it perfect. And it's not about being perfect. It's about bringing yourself back on an ongoing basis. And whenever we're trying to create a new awareness, a new consciousness, we actually do have to engage the prefrontal cortex, and we do have to put attention to it. So if you're not used to doing this kind of practice, then, you know, be gentle with yourself. Maybe set a reminder on your phone. Maybe, you know, take some time each morning to just have some quiet time, or before you go to bed at night, or even before you eat, like whatever works for you to be able to come to this quiet place. So now they ask, well, why would you do this? Well, because it brings you peace, because it brings you tranquility, and it brings you connection. It centers you, it grounds you. And don't all of us need that right now? And it takes you out of the hurly-burly rush of life, out of the stress, out of the panic, out of the anxiety, and it brings you back into the vehicle of your body that you're living in. And the vehicle of your body connects you back to your heart, which is that amazing, amazing energy that flows within your body all the time. And when you can connect back to your heart, then you can be at one with all things. Now, it's not easy, but you can do it. I know you can do it because I know you do it in other things in your life. And so they're here with this message to suggest that we really get familiar with this practice of beginning to stop and take notice. And in those moments, begin to feel ourselves. So stop and feel you, feel who you are, and feel your part in your world, and feel your connection to the bigger world, to the expansiveness of the universe. And as you do that, you'll begin to more easily connect to the fact that you are both the grain of sand and the beach. This is a beautiful beautiful channeling. And I highly recommend that you go either to my website or Mixcloud, Bosie International, and listen to the channeling itself, because it's one of the most clear channelings that I've had come through in quite a long time. And the energy of the channeling is just wonderful. And when you listen to the actual recording, you are getting downloaded those key codes, those shifts, those awarenesses into your very cellular being. And that, my friend, is a gift that will really assist and help you to find some stillness and recognize that in that stillness, you will know that you are God. Of course, you're a human being too, but you also have access to this innate wisdom and wonderful intuitive guidance that is your higher back power, is your higher being, is your spiritual connection, is your sense of love in the world. So thank you for listening and watching. And if you've enjoyed my video, please like, share, and subscribe so that you can receive all my updates. And if you're looking to learn more about some of the work that I do, or even listen to more of the channelings or read the transcripts on my blog page, all the links are listed below the description of this video. And thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I am sending you lots and lots of love.